Good evening, listeners, and welcome to our business program, Market Mantra, in which we give you a complete update on the economic, business, and stock market news of the day. I'm Ranga Basham, and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Manoj Pathak.
नमस्कार, मार्केट मंत्र के ताजा अंक में आपका स्वागत है। आधे घंटे के इस कार्यक्रम में हमेशा की तरह हम अर्थनीति, कारोबार और शेयर बाजार से जुड़ी दुनिया भर की ताजा खबरों को लेकर हाजिर हैं। हमारे साथ खबरों पर चर्चा के लिए स्टूडियो में आज आमंत्रित है वरिष्ठ आर्थिक पत्रकार उदयन राय। उदयन, कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है।
धन्यवाद।
आइए शुरुआत करते हैं अंग्रेजी में हेडलाइन से, जिसे लेकर मौजूद हैं रंगा भाष्यम।
Thank you, Manoj. The top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterates India's commitment to support the development of Nepal according to priorities of the neighboring country. Key Asian markets end little changed amid a protracted trade dispute between US and China. And Brent crude oil futures climbed 50 cents to trade above $63 per barrel.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने नेपाल के विकास में भारत के पूरे समर्थन की प्रतिबद्धता दोहराई है। अमेरिका और चीन के बीच जारी कारोबारी विवाद के बीच आज एशियाई बाजारों में दिखा मिला जुला रुख और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजारों में ब्रेंट कच्चे तेल की कीमत 50 सेंट बढ़कर $63 प्रति बैरल से ऊपर पहुंची। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने नेपाल के विकास में भारत के पूरे समर्थन की प्रतिबद्धता दोहराई है। उन्होंने कहा कि पड़ोसी देश की प्राथमिकताओं के अनुसार भारत उसे सहायता देगा। वे आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए नेपाल के प्रधानमंत्री केपी शर्मा ओली के साथ भारत और नेपाल के बीच पेट्रोलियम पदार्थों की आपूर्ति के लिए डाली गई मोतिहारी अमलेखगंज पाइपलाइन का उद्घाटन कर रहे थे। दक्षिण एशिया में दो देशों के बीच इस तरह की ये पहली पाइपलाइन है। इसकी लंबाई 60 किलोमीटर से अधिक है। फिलहाल भारत से टैंकरों के माध्यम से पेट्रोलियम पदार्थ नेपाल ले जाए जाते हैं। ये व्यवस्था 1973 से बनी हुई थी। अब नई व्यवस्था सुचारू रूप से काम कर सकेगी। इस अवसर पर प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि दोनों देश अपनी भागीदारी को और व्यापक बनाएंगे। विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में सहयोग और गहरा होगा। उन्होंने कहा कि यह संतोष का विषय है कि पहली बार सीमा पार पेट्रोलियम पाइपलाइन रिकॉर्ड समय में बनकर तैयार हुई है। उन्होंने इसका श्रेय नेपाल के नेतृत्व और दोनों देशों के संयुक्त प्रयासों को दिया। प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि दोनों देशों ने अनेक महत्वपूर्ण द्विपक्षीय योजनाओं को पूरा किया है और पिछले 5 वर्षों में अनेक काम हुए हैं। हम उदयन, आपका ध्यान आकृष्ट करना चाहेंगे इस खबर की ओर, खास तौर से जो पेट्रोलियम पदार्थों की आपूर्ति के लिए एक विशिष्ट पाइपलाइन बनी है, 60 किलोमीटर से अधिक पाइपलाइन। अभी तक जो तेल का आदान प्रदान होता था, भारत से भेजा जाता था वहां आमतौर पर ट्रकों के माध्यम से, अब एक नई शुरुआत किन अर्थों में लेंगे इस पहल को?
ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण डेवलपमेंट है। और जैसे कि आप कह ही रहे थे कि ये सड़कों के थ्रू से, टैंकरों के थ्रू से जाता था, तो एक पुख्ता, एक मोर सॉलिड अरेंजमेंट है। पर इसका सिग्निफिकेंस आपको हम लोगों को थोड़ा सा आगे और देखने की ज़रूरत है। जैसे कि आप पता नहीं आपको श्रोताओं को मालूम है कि नहीं कि चीन और नेपाल के बीच में एक बॉर्डर पोस्ट खुल गया है कुछ महीने पहले, जहाँ से ट्रेडिंग शुरू हो गई। मतलब पहले भी होता था, पर ये बहुत ही सिग्निफिकेंट है और वहाँ पर मूवमेंट का इंतज़ाम किया गया है। और वो काफ़ी कुछ इंटरनेशनल मीडिया आउटलेट्स में उसका फोकस रहा था। तो जैसे कि हम जानते हैं चीन का एक रोल वहाँ पे बना हुआ है, और जबकि हमारे भारत और नेपाल के बीच में बहुत ही इंट्रिंसिक एक संबंध है, बहुत घनिष्ठ संबंध है। जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि हम गोरखा सोल्जर्स हैं जो हमारे यहाँ पे सर्व करते हैं और ब्रिटेन में सर्व करते हैं। इस टाइप का बहुत ही क्लोज रिलेशनशिप है। तो उस हिसाब से उसको बरकरार रखने के लिए, अपने स्ट्रेटेजिक जो इंटरेस्ट है उसको बरकरार रखने के लिए ये इस टाइप के जो डेवलपमेंट्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
Yeah, and but Udin, what would you say? Nepal, almost as a kind of a porous border with India. You don't need a passport or a visa to visit the country. People go freely across. So, like goods and services also go across without much of a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. But Ranga, one of the things that has happened, ever since the Nepal made a transition from monarchy to its relation with India has been kind of mixed.
Okay.
I mean, to put it diplomatically, and this is not something that will give great comfort. We would want it to be better than what it is. For obvious reasons, culturally we are absolutely homogeneous, as you mentioned. There are many areas where it's the same community of people across the border broadly. Yeah. Therefore, it becomes very important for us to make sure that if there is any kind of grievance or any other thing, we settle it, amicably. It isn't bad at all, but it can be much better than what it is. And economically, if we can do well, if we are both aligned, then it makes a lot of sense. And that way, this pipeline actually makes an interesting new sort of a beginning, because there have been times when there were unrest and certain sections out there they felt that India was kind of within quotes blockading Nepal. So when you have a pipeline like this, those things go out of the window, or it takes a step towards throwing them out of the window. So those things are important. I mean, it's a very important number for us, because culturally, religion-wise, and other ways, we are very close
to each other. And even like Nepalese is an official language in India.
Absolutely.
As well. But as far as just for a perspective, as far as products are concerned, whether it's consumables, say biscuits or toiletries, or all these means, not everything would be getting manufactured in Nepal as such. So India would be a kind of a big time supplier for all these products, automobiles, for example, or whatever you name them, and probably it would be going. So there will be flourishing trade between the two countries.
Absolutely, but that was what it was for a very long time. But ever since China brought its railway line to Tibet, and then of course there's been a lot of through some of the border posts, trade used to happen. But when something like a rail connection happens from the other side of the Chinese countryside, then it's a very significant thing that has happened. You managed to get a lot of goods coming in. Although it has not come, the roads haven't developed and stuff hasn't happened to a level where it's like going to completely alter the landscape. But we know how transformational the Chinese system can be if it wants to be, and looks like it's heading there. Therefore, we could, and for us it's much easier, because ours is not a hilly terrain in terms of some of the parts with Nepal. There are other parts which is very hilly, but from there we can do a lot of good economic linkages can be done.
आइए खबरों का सिलसिला आगे बढ़ाएं। घरेलू शेयर बाजार में आज मुहर्रम के उपलक्ष्य में कारोबार बंद रहा। सराफा बाजार भी बंद रहे और मुद्रा बाजार में भी आज छुट्टी बनी रही। वैश्विक बाजारों की ओर चलें तो सबसे पहले नजर डालते हैं एशियाई शेयर बाजार पर, जहां कुल मिलाकर तेजी आज दिखी है। चीन में अगस्त महीने में पिछले 3 वर्षों के दौरान फैक्ट्री में उत्पादित वस्तुओं का मूल्य गेट के बाहर सर्वाधिक तेज गति से कम हुआ है। विशेषज्ञों का कहना है कि फैक्ट्री के बाहर मूल्यों में ये कमी अर्थव्यवस्था में गिरावट का संकेत है, जिसे देखते हुए सरकार पर आर्थिक प्रोत्साहन देने की आवश्यकता बढ़ गई है। इन सब खबरों के बीच चीन के शेयर बाजार में आज बिकवाली तेज रही और संघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स 0.1% घाटे के साथ बंद हुआ। उधर अन्य प्रमुख बाजारों में लिवाली तेज रही। जापान का निक्केई 225 सूचकांक 0.4% ऊपर उठकर बंद हुआ। दक्षिण कोरिया के कोस्पी में 0.6% की बढ़त देखने को मिली। सिंगापुर का स्ट्रेट्स टाइम्स इंडेक्स 0.3% बढ़ा। उधर हांगकांग का हेंगसेंग भी मामूली बढ़त के साथ बंद हुआ। यूरोपीय बाजारों की ओर चलें तो अंतर्देशीय कारोबार में नरमी दिख रही थी। समाचार तैयार किए जाने तक लंदन का फुट्सी 100 0.3%, फ्रांस का कैक 40 0.4% और जर्मनी का डैक्स 0.1% नीचे चल रहा था।
Across the Atlantic, US markets ended flat yesterday as increased expectations of stimulus from central banks around the world were offset by losses in technology and healthcare shares. The S&P 500 Financial Index was among the best performing groups, rising 1.5%, with banks surging 3.2% and US Treasury yields up on rising bets of an interest rate cut at the US Federal Reserve's September meeting. Cementing those expectations, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell had late last week said that the central bank would act as appropriate to sustain economic expansion, a phrase that financial markets have read as a sign of an impending rate cut. This week, the European Central Bank is expected to introduce new stimulus measures at its meeting on Thursday. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 38 points or 0.1% to close at 26,836. But the S&P 500 lost less than 1 point and closed flat at 2,978. And the Nasdaq Composite shed 16 points to close at 8,087. Earlier on Monday, US Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said that he did not see the threat of a recession as the Trump administration seeks to revive trade negotiations with China, adding he expected a positive year ahead for the US economy. Udayan, what would you say, like everywhere we are seeing, whether we talk about the Asian markets, Europe or in America, it seems as if recession is looming large. Is it just a perception or is it actually happening?
Well, the point is, ever since 2008 happened, which is the global financial crisis, there has been an uninterrupted expansion.
Yeah.
Now, if global financial crisis was an once in a generation kind of economic development, this is not heard of. You typically have business cycles. Now what's most interesting is this kind of cycle has the biggest beneficiary, biggest driver has been US, which is the biggest economy. So US economy size and its influence is so huge. It manages to pull the whole global system along with it. Now the question is, the moment, so there's always this thing that it's too good to last, how long can it last? Yes, economic cycles happen and they sort of, it's inevitable that you can't go at a breakneck speed. So some of it is because of that, so people are trying to look at indicators of whether certain things are happening or not. So as far as US, you're still not getting those signs. Sometimes it will be some inverted yield curve or something like that will come, maybe a little bit of softening of but there aren't three indicators where you can draw a line and say, okay, this has happened. Now this is not the same thing as what's happening in Germany and some other countries of the world where things have really weakened. I mean, it's not alarming, but it's weakened. So you have the engine working, but the bogies are not doing that great. So you can see everywhere. You can see China, you can see us. So that is where we stand. So it's a kind of mixed picture at the moment. It's not as if world is going to come to an end, but sometimes it also depends on the vibrancy of the system. So
and its capacity to bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. So US does attract capital and labor, and it has got the institutions, and it has got the entrepreneurship. You got everything in one place, and that's why. And you got vibrant systems. So they have the ability to absorb capital, use the labor smartly, have the market mechanism and the institutions, so you can do that. Now, not every country in the world can boast of that. We are still doing our reforms. China still is trying to do it. So there are certain. I'm ending up praising the US system, but the point is I'm just recognizing the strength. Business cycle after business cycle. This is what can be attributed to it. That this is what has helped them. So this is the kind of picture you have, and over a period of time it can only slow down a little bit. The moment US slows down, then everybody says, we have So it is therefore, but there is a slowdown. There's no doubt. I mean, you can see the numbers across, and these are part of the whole system. When an economy slows down or economies slow down, you try to get more efficient with the way you use money and the way you use labor. The inefficient companies go out of the window. They shut down. New companies come up. They merge. This is part of an evolution. So this is part of life, and that's how it is. And we have now got used to this market economy, so we are okay, I think, I suppose.
दिन इसमें यानी सिल्वर लाइनिंग हम कहाँ देखें कि ठीक है, यानी चक्का है वो चल रहा है, अब नीचे की ओर जाता दिख रहा, तो इसमें कहाँ से फिर ऊपर उठने के आसार हैं, या कौन से ऐसे क्षेत्र हो सकते हैं जहाँ ऐसे में भी हालात थोड़े बेहतर हों?
देखिए, जहाँ तक भारत का सवाल है, भारत में कुछ अच्छी बातें हैं. वो ये है कि हमारा एक पूरा रूरल इकोनॉमी है, ठीक है. वहाँ पे अगर हम उसको फिक्स करते हैं, जैसे सरकार एक कोशिश करे कि इनकम को बढ़ाया जाए, रूरल इनकम, तो वहाँ पे अगर करते हैं तो फिर वो आपके मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के साथ जुड़ा नहीं, वो इकोनॉमी अपने बलबूते पे आगे बढ़ सकती है. उसको उनको अगर वो ढांचा मिल जाए, उनको वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिल जाए, उनको मार्केट तक अपना प्रोड्यूस को लाने का हिसाब किताब बन जाए, इरिगेशन का हिसाब किताब, मतलब इनकम उनकी बढ़े, तो वो अपना हिसाब किताब अपनी जगह है. दूसरी बात यह है कि हमारे पास जो मैन पावर है, जो है हमारी काफ़ी सारी जो पॉपुलेशन, जिसके बारे में काफ़ी बातचीत हो चुकी है कि काफ़ी सारा जो हमारा यूथ है वो वर्क फोर्स के अंदर आ रहा है. अगर आप उसमें उनको उद्यमी, मतलब एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और जॉब क्रिएशन, अगर जॉब क्रिएशन ना भी कर पाए, अगर छोटे उद्योग या छोटे सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट के अगर जो सोर्सेस हैं उनको सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट में हेल्प हो सके, वो काफ़ी है, क्योंकि हम लोगों ने ई कॉमर्स के मार्केट प्लेसेस बनाए, सब कुछ ही हम ई कॉमर्स से कर रहे हैं. तो आज एक बिजनेस सेटअप करने में उतनी दिक्कत उतनी नहीं है जितनी शायद 10 साल पहले थी. ये तो डेफिनेटली हम कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ कह सकते हैं. अगर उसको और मतलब 2 साल में अगर हम उसको और धीरे वो कर लें तो बेहतर होगा. कुछ चीज़ें ऐसे हैं, अगर सरकार की एक और जो नीति है मकान बनाने की है, सड़कें बनाने की है, इनसे भी जुड़ी हुई जो चीज़ें हैं वो अगर अपनी जगह में ही एग्जीक्यूशन ठीक हो जाए. जैसे कि मैं कह रहा था, जब एक डाउनटर्न होता है तो तब आपको क्या देखना पड़ता है, आपके पास जो है पैसे हैं, जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, उसको आप कितने स्मार्टली इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. तो वो अगर आपकी एग्जीक्यूशन ठीक ठाक हो जाए तो फिर तो दिक्कत नहीं है. नहीं तो फिर क्या होता है, सरकार के पास हेडरूम एक डाउनटर्न में कम होता है, क्योंकि आपका राजस्व कम हो रहा है, क्योंकि आपकी इकोनॉमी उस रेट में नहीं बढ़ रही, तो इसलिए टैक्स कलेक्शन उस रेट में नहीं बढ़ सकती. इसका मतलब क्या है, जो को आपके पास अगर 100 रुपये आ रहे हैं तो 100 रुपये को आपको इस तरीके से इस्तेमाल करना है कि फ्यूचर में जाके एक मल्टीप्लायर इनकम हो. तो जो 100 रुपये इस्तेमाल करेंगे फ्यूचर इनकम बनाने में जाए, ना कि कंजम्पशन को सब्सिडाइज करें. फ्यूचर में कुछ एसेट बन जाए जिससे इनकम बने.
Udin, talking about the global scenario, it's been more than a year ever since this trade war started between the US and China, and now it has been a kind of a tit for tat kind of a scenario. But now, when everyone is saying that the entire global economic downturn is kind of at the threshold, don't you think
China
and US should sit up and take notice and say that now enough is enough and we have to call it off?
Well, Ranga, it is not pure economy, it's political economy. Now let's, for a moment, I mean, people can criticize, but they have people who have done it. It looks, to a lot of people, it looked counterproductive. But if you look for a moment, it does have a logic of its own. If US, in its history, or the way it's evolving, if it had to do this, when should it have done it? It should have done it at the time it was done. You couldn't have done it 5 years later. You had to do it now. We cannot, it's beyond the remit of this program to discuss it. But if you really look at it hard, you will find 10 reasons why US had to do it. And US knew that and you can only do this when your economy is doing well. So you're betting on the fact that I'm going to get hurt less than my adversary or the person with whom I'm negotiating. That is exactly what has happened.
Okay.
So all the figures that you just read out and figures that you haven't read out about China is exactly pointing in that direction. Now the question is that good enough to get into an agreement? Through coercion can you do it? Only time will tell.
Yeah, and internationally, interest rate seems to be going down everywhere, whether we talk about the European region, America, and even domestically, we have seen how RBI for the 4 consecutive times has slashed rates, and even in the upcoming policy, that's what is expected. So, are we going in for a benign rate regime in the near future?
Absolutely. Just look at it like let's look at interest rate as a price for funds or the price for money. So either somebody is borrowing money or somebody is giving money. If you look at it like that, there's less and less demand for money. That's why you might as well bring down the price of money. So if you look at it just like that and forget about some of the other nuances, this will help you understand why it is going down. Because everywhere, if there's a downturn, there aren't many people who are looking for loans because they're not quite sure that they can pay back. So it could be corporate, it could be retail, it could be anybody. So that's, if you look at it just like that, I know it's a very
so the cost of money is
it's going down because there aren't too many takers. If the 3 of us would have taken a loan, now there are just 2. So therefore, the person who's saddled with money, who has the funds, the person will say, I might as well bring down the price so that the money goes. Because for a person who's saddled with money and is not lending out, that person or that institution is not earning anything on that money. So the money needs to keep moving for a financial institution to earn and become more profitable.
उदिन लाख टकी बात आपने कही कि मुद्रा का संचार होते रहना चाहिए. जो धन है वो कहीं सुस्त पड़ा हुआ है तो उससे कोई लाभ नहीं होगा. लेकिन सवाल ये है कि वर्तमान जो परिस्थितियां हैं उसमें कम से कम अपने देश को ध्यान में रखते हुए मांग बढ़ेगी कैसे और ये संचार बढ़ कहां सकेगा.
देखिए कुछ चीज़ें तो सेंटिमेंट ड्रिवन हो जाती हैं. कई बार क्या होता है कि आप एक चीज़ से दूसरी चीज़ आती है, दूसरी, जैसे स्टॉक मार्केट्स में तो कुछ फंडामेंटल्स होते हैं. अब पिछले साल जैसे हमारी दिक्कत थी हमारे फॉरेक्स में, मतलब तेल के दाम बढ़ गए तो उसमें उसकी वजह से प्रेशर आ गया. अभी जो हमारा इशू है वो काफ़ी कुछ लिक्विडिटी से जुड़ी हुई बात है कि कैश आ नहीं रहा, कैश नहीं आ रहा भाई, तो आगे बढ़ नहीं पा रहे हैं, फिर एक डिमांड नहीं बढ़ पा रहा है, इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है. इन्वेस्टमेंट तो बहुत दूर की बात है. अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट तक आएंगे, फ्रेश इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सकेंगे, तब जाके फ्यूचर का इनकम बनेगा. इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं इसका मतलब फ्यूचर में इनकम बना रहे हैं, या खुद के लिए किसी और के लिए. तो वो कुछ जो लिक्विडिटी से जुड़ी हुई बात जो कि इमीडिएट है, वो तो जब तक ये टॉक्सिक चीज़ें आती रहेंगी सामने आपके कि इनका लोन रह गया, इनका गड़बड़ हो गया, यहाँ पे रिकग्निशन हो रहा, तो वो एक जो मंथन है, जो एक उपवास करते वक्त आपके अंदर जो टॉक्सिक चीज़ें होती हैं, जहरीली चीज़ें होती हैं, जो निकालना होता, पर्ज करना होता, वो तो एक ज़रूरी है. सिस्टम से उसको निकलना ज़रूरी है. जब तक वो पूरी की पूरी बुरी खबर नहीं आ जाती है ना, तो तब तक ये कभी 10,000 करोड़ का कुछ गड़बड़ लोन का कुछ आ रहा है, कभी कुछ आ रहा है. तो ये जब तक सॉर्ट आउट, मुझे लगता है कि कम से कम 2-1 क्वार्टर तो आप सोच ही लीजिए कि ऐसे ही चलेगा. थिंग्स माइट गेट बेटर क्योंकि हमारे ये फेस्टिवल सीजन है, थोड़ी सी स्पेंडिंग बढ़ जाती है, पर अभी भी काफ़ी नम है, मतलब तो पिछले सालों के हिसाब से.
Yeah. When you spoke about our own domestic stock markets, we saw the Sensex, crossing that psychological level of 40,000 many months back, and the Nifty crossing the 12,000 mark. But from there on, it has come down a lot. From 40,000, we have come down to roughly 37,000 level, and it doesn't seem to be moving ahead. So, what is holding back the markets?
I think, Ranga, if you look at Sensex, I mean, like 40% if I'm not wrong, is banking and those finance guys. Now, if they are troubled in any way, I mean, you really can't expect. Okay. Because...
But that's predominantly NPAs which is troubling them.
NPAs, liquidity coming in, liquidity not being there, you're not wanting to lend. See, banks put in money in NBFCs put in money somewhere else. Then there were mutual funds have put money on NBFC. So it's not a very simple thing. That one guy in that, everybody's interlinked, and one guy gets into trouble. So everybody in the room.
So it's a web.
Yeah. So unless and the amounts are not like 1 crore, 3 crore, and 5 crore. We are talking about some thousand, and so in some cases it's 10,000 crore. So till these things get sorted out, some of the cases that they're getting sorted out, some people will take haircuts. You will have this problem coming in because somebody is linked up with somebody. Suppose there's a finance guy who's linked up with the housing project, then you're getting into that problem. You have other guys who were in trouble and whose loans were getting rescheduled. And now people are saying, okay, now, we really can't deal with this any longer. We need to figure out, take a call. So all those things, day of reckoning has come in. You were kicking the can down the road.
Okay.
The road has come to an end for some of these guys. So therefore, that purge will have to happen, unfortunately. And we, as a nation, and this thing, it's not a catastrophe that's happening. It's a part of that system. All of us will learn, and the system will learn, and probably, will be better for the experience.
Yeah, let's hope to see, better days for the stock markets in times to come. Let's move on to the energy sector, more specifically oil. Global crude oil futures rose today to their highest level in almost 6 weeks on optimism that OPEC and other oil-producing countries may agree to extend output cuts to support prices. So Brent rose 50 cents to trade at $63.09 per barrel. US crude oil futures rose 48 cents to $58.33 per barrel. Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's new energy minister and a long-time member of the Saudi delegation to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, said that the kingdom's policy would not change and a global deal to cut oil production by 1.2 million barrels per day would be maintained. He added that the so-called OPEC Plus alliance made up of OPEC and non-OPEC producers including Russia would be in place for the long term. Udin, what would you say as far as oil is concerned? Thankfully it is in that it's kind of range bound, but if we were to talk about the domestic scenario and also the international scenario, can we expect these measures which I spoke about just now about OPEC is on the supply side, but if we were to take a view of the demand side, do you see the demand going down moderately in the next 5 to 10 years with the advent of all the new technologies?
One would expect that, with the kind of encouragement which India and China, they are very large consumers, no doubt.
Yeah. For electric vehicles?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kind of work that's gone on batteries in China is stupendous in the last 10 years. So one would expect that to come into play at some point. But would it completely alter the thing? Because once you move from one technology to the other, or one use to the, you're talking about something really dramatic. Altering all of it together may not be so easy, because the whole system is aligned. See how people have reacted to electric vehicles. So it will start coming to play, almost like the way fracking came into play. They start, initially it will be a small factor, and then they'll, determine the direction in which sentiment in the market is moving. But in the immediate 6-7 months, it's the supply side which is pretty much they're going to struggle. They're going to keep cutting the supply. As the Saudi minister has mentioned, they're talking about cuts. Nobody's talking about anything else. They want to maintain the price around this range. Below which, if it goes below that, then it becomes a bit of a problem. So they've had those cutting and $30 kind of zone 2 years back. I think they're through with that. I mean, they've beggared themselves. They had beggared themselves at that point. Now I think they just want to make sure that they get their monthly paycheck.
Right.
उदिन तेल का विकल्प बनती हुई बैटरी यानी बिजली चालित वाहन और इनके अलावा ऊर्जा के निकट भविष्य में और कौन से स्रोत उभरते दिख रहे हैं आपको?
देखिए, दूसरा तो सोलर तो है ही। जैसे कि हमने पता नहीं आपने वो खबर पढ़ी कि नहीं कि यूनाइटेड नेशन संयुक्त यूनाइटेड नेशंस की बिल्डिंग के ऊपर जो सोलर पैनल्स लगे हैं वो इंडिया ने गिफ्ट किए हैं, अभी 7-8 दिन पहले हुआ है या शायद उससे भी कम। तो हम सोलर पैनल्स में बहुत ज़बरदस्त हमने वो किया है, छलांग लगाई है, और हमने जो कमिटमेंट्स की हैं पेरिस में वो भी ज़बरदस्त है। तो वो ये सब चीज़ें काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंस रहेगी।
यानी कुल मिलाकर ऊर्जा का जो वैकल्पिक ऊर्जा है उसकी दिशा में हम बढ़ रहे हैं और दुनिया भी उस दिशा में बढ़ती दिख रही। बस यहीं पर श्रोताओं की ओर से उदयन हम आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे।
धन्यवाद।
And before we close, a quick look at the top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterates India's commitment to support the development of Nepal according to priorities of the neighboring country. Key Asian markets end little changed amid a protracted trade dispute between US and China. And Brent crude oil futures climbed 50 cents to trade above $63 per barrel. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Market Mantra, the program that gives you a complete roundup of all that's happening in the world of business, economics and the stock market. But for now, from the entire team of Market Mantra, thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.